to another Farming Simulator 25 video. Like all of the best videos, we're going to be in PowerPoint today, and we're going to be having a look at whether it is worth buying a spinnery. You've got two options available to you. You've got the larger one, which will cost you £180,000 dollars or euros, or the smaller one, which is £36,000 dollars or euros. Both of them have the same recipes, so both of them will take 9 litres of cotton, turn it into 3 litres of fabric, or 3 litres of wool and turn it into 1 litre of fabric. The big difference is that the smaller one only has 10% of the cycles of the larger one. It does cost you 20% of the cost, so it's less efficient to buy, but it's smaller. But is it worth it? Let's have a look. So we've got all 4 of the cycle options. So each of the productions has 2 cycles, a cotton cycle and a wool cycle. As I said, the inputs and outputs are the same. The difference is the number of cycles, and it costs the same to run them as well, which is a little bit cheeky, I think. So the larger one can process just over 21,500 litres of cotton a month, almost 4,500 litres of wool a month, and it will give you then about 7,000 litres of fabric from the cotton, or about 1,500 litres of fabric from the wool. And then the smaller one is 10% of those numbers. Looking at wool, because I'm not sure how big a cotton field either of those will support. You'll have to do a bit of testing yourself to see how much. I guess the difference with cotton is you're only going to get 1 cotton harvest a year, so you've got all year to process it. Whereas with sheep, they're going to be producing wool every month. So from my Can You Make Money from Sheep video, I know that an adult sheep produces 60 litres of wool per month. So the big one can process the wool from 72 sheep a month. The small one is only 7 sheep a month, which is hardly any. So bear that in mind if you're going to be placing one of these, because that's not many sheep for something that costs you 36 grand. And even the big one, 180 grand, is only processing the wool from 72 sheep. So, yep, something to consider. How do the finances look? So what I've got here is the value of the cotton or the wool for each that you're processing. This is all done on normal difficulty, by the way. So this is the number of litres times the best sell price per litre. Then the equivalent for the output. So the 9 litres of cotton versus the 3 litres of fabric. And then we've got the profit. So you're getting sort of 24% more for the cotton cycle, 42% more for the wool cycles. That seems pretty good until you look at the actual numbers. And this is per cycle initially. You're only getting about £5 more for the cotton and not even £3 more for the wool on each cycle. Now, the big one is doing nearly 2,500 cycles a month. The smaller one, a couple hundred on the cotton. I think it was like 1,540 on the wool. So if you're putting cotton through on the large one, you're looking at nearly a £13,000 extra profit per month versus just selling the cotton. 4,000 for wool versus just selling the wool. These are all best price comparisons. Then 1,300 for the small one processing cotton, and only 400 a month for the small one processing wool into fabric, selling the fabric at the best price versus just selling the wool at the best price. So how long is it going to take you to get back the money for buying this thing? With the large spinnery, if you're running cotton through it, because you can process enough to make an extra nearly 13 grand's worth of profit a month, it's going to take you about 14 months worth of processing cotton and then selling that at the best price to recover your investment. So about just over a year. Running it with wool, it's going to take you 45 months. So 3 years, 9 months. It's quite a long time. Are you going to be playing on a map for that long? Good question. Obviously, you could sell the production and you'll get some of that back, but there's something to bear in mind, I think. And then with the small spinnery, and why I've done this, two reasons. One, I was watching a Kartek video, I'm a bit behind in his series. He'd placed one, and that made me think I'd quite like to put one of these on Zalonka, maybe increase the profitability of my wool. But then I looked, and if you're running cotton through it, it's going to take 28 months to recover the investment. If you're putting wool through it, it's 91 months because it just doesn't process very much. And I've got more than 7 sheep on there, so I can't process all of the wool from my sheep. So, yeah, these are a little bit disappointing, I think. Are they worth it? If you're a cotton farmer, yes, but you're going to need to buy the big one, so you're going to need to be doing a decent amount of cotton. And I guess if you can afford to, and you can afford to buy the big spinnery and you've got the space with wool, yes, I think probably. And if you're going to be playing for long enough for it to pay off, because it was 45 months. So if you're going to be on the map a long time, yes. But it's a long-term investment. For the small production, I don't think so. Partly because it costs you, the cost to output ratio is wrong, I feel. Now I get that, it's less efficient to have a smaller building doing the work than a big building, but the production is not particularly efficient anyway, and then they hamstring you. So yeah, my view, don't go for the small production. Maybe wait for a modded one, which might be a bit cheaper to place, and that way maybe this will be more cost effective. It might run faster, so you can process more wool, or it might be cheaper. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. If you have, click the like button. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, stick them below. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, and I will see you guys next time.